Failures are our greatest teachers. I don't think anybody that's ever endeavored to ever do anything didn't fail at some point in some aspect of what they were trying to do. We learn from it and we move forward. It doesn't feel good when people don't believe in you. My dad always told me, if something ever doesn't go the way that you've planned and you find yourself in that situation, don't panic. The most important thing you can do is stay calm, stay present. And I've always sort of likened, I can't remember which, I think it was a Vietnam War film or some other film that I was watching one time. And this sergeant stood right up in the middle of this battle. And bullets are hitting branches and knocking trees down. You can hear him zipping by. And he stands up and he says, hey, go over there, move up. You need to watch right over there. And the presence amidst all the chaos and destruction and calamity was what saved all of their lives. And I think that presence of mind and that being able to be calm, that you've laid a plan out, you've done what you've done that got you to this point. If something comes up that you didn't expect or that you didn't know was going to come, your plan's not bad. It got you to where you are. Right now you have to deal with what's in front of you. That doesn't mean run away. It doesn't mean stop and don't do anything. It means deal with it. Deal with what's in front of you. Move through it, move around it, move over it, move under it, but keep moving forward. Rectify the situation, regroup, and go.
Every day during training, you were challenged with multiple physical events: long runs, long swims, obstacle courses, hours of calisthenics, something designed to test your mettle. Every event had standards, times you had to meet. If you failed to meet those times, those standards, your name was posted on a list, and at the end of the day, those on the list were invited to a circus. A circus was 2 hours of additional calisthenics, designed to wear you down, to break your spirit, to force you to quit. No one wanted a circus. A circus meant that for that day, you didn't measure up. A circus meant more fatigue, and more fatigue meant that the following day would be more difficult, and more circuses were likely. But at some time during SEAL training, everyone made the circus list. But an interesting thing happened to those who were constantly on the list. Over time, those students who did 2 hours of extra calisthenics got stronger and stronger. The pain of the circuses built inner strength and physical resiliency. Life is filled with circuses. You will fail. You will likely fail often. It will be painful. It will be discouraging. At times, it will test you to your very core. But if you want to change the world, don't be afraid of the circuses. During the land warfare phase of training, the students are flown out to San Clemente Island, which lies off the coast of San Diego. The waters off San Clemente are a breeding ground for the great white sharks. To pass SEAL training, there are a series of long swims that must be completed. One is the night swim. Before the swim, the instructors joyfully brief the students on all the species of sharks that inhabit the waters off San Clemente. They assure you, however, that no student has ever been eaten by a shark, at least not that they can remember. But you are also taught that if a shark begins to circle your position, stand your ground. Do not swim away. Do not act afraid. And if the shark, hungry for a midnight snack, darts towards you, then summons up all your strength and punch him in the snout, and he will turn and swim away. There are a lot of sharks in the world. If you hope to complete the swim, you will have to deal with them. So if you want to change the world, don't back down from the sharks.
I'm talking to those guys who hate to fail, because I hate to fail. It's really as simple as that. It takes tubs and tubs of ice cream, lots of tissues, lots of tears, lots of dramabazi, my mother, my best friends, my family, everybody making me feel better about it. But the one thing that is as certain as night and day, ladies and gentlemen, is that you will fail. It's just how it is. And there is nothing that you can do to stop that. It's what you do after that'll define where you go. When something I've invested in my heart and my soul, which I do with everything, that I actually put my mind to, if that fails, I don't just wallow in self-pity. I roll myself in it. I roll around in it. I wrap myself in it, head to toe, self-pity, self-pity, self-pity. It's not a pretty sight. But then I get up, cry a little, dust myself off and dive straight back into life, because the only way to push failure aside is to move ahead. Not ignore it, analyze it, and learn from it. Always remember, you will never truly enjoy success until you have tasted failure. Fail, fail, fail again, and then rise like a phoenix. Now, what is life without a little bit of a risk, right? No, I'm not an adrenaline junkie. I'm not telling you to go off roller coasters or anything. I've always believed that you have to take risks, calculated, educated risks, to evolve. Because if you've not truly explored the full extent of your possibilities, you'll always remain stagnant. People have written me off several times in my career. Sometimes they didn't agree with my choices. When I played a negative character in my film Aitraz, very early in my career, I was told I'll be a vamp and no one will cast me as a heroine. When I took on a female-centric film called Fashion, again very early on in my career, I was told that was not norm. When I signed a US TV show at the height of my film career in India, each time the risks were huge. The stakes were high, and the repercussions could have been, to say not the least, career ending. Thank God they weren't, and I'm still standing in front of you. I really appreciate God. I don't know what will happen going forward, but as of now, I can say that my risks and the gamble was worth it. You know why? Because I backed up those risks with my 100%. Be bold and take these risks.
It takes three things to create a breakthrough in anything, in your personal life, in your business, anywhere. You need a strategy. But that's not the first place you should look, and it's the first place all of us look. Me too. It's our inherent thing. You want to lose weight? Well, how do I do it? I want to grow my business? How do I do it? It's instinctive. We've been trained to think that way. But the problem is the how-to is usually not that complex. I mean, come on. 70% of America is what, 75% of America now is overweight? Is that because it's so complex how to be fit and strong? Right? You know, only the 1% know the answers. They hide it from you. You have to work your ass off to not hear what it takes, right? And so you know, I remember I went to a TED Med Center, and I watched about 12 doctors, one after another, get up and do these stories about how we could just get patients to take their medications and try to figure out the whole thing. And I was just looking and going, you're all talking about strategy and you've forgotten psychology. Because strategy is wonderful. I'm a strategist. I spent my whole life figuring out strategies. As we both know, a strategy could save you a decade, right? In business, strategy could save you, you know, it could make the difference between success and failure. But most people have strategies available, or they could get them, or you could create them. But the problem is you got a story. And your story is why it isn't working. And the story is, I've tried what? What? Everything. If you tried everything, you'd be fit, right? If you tried everything, you'd be profitable. If you tried everything, you'd be there. But people say it, you know, I'm big bone. That's what I used to say. I'm still big bone, but I'm 38 pounds lighter than I was 25 years ago, and I've never gained it back, right? When I was big bone, that was my story. All the good ones are gone. That's why I'm not in a relationship. Or they're gay and I'm not, or I'm gay and they are, or whatever the story is. There's always a story. And what I tell people is, you know, if you can just divorce the story of your limitation and marry the truth of your unlimited capacity, then the whole game changes. But it's hard to do that, because when you're in your story, you don't even realize it. So you need a third piece for breakthrough, and that's really what my life's about, which is changing people's states. Because in a different state, we're different people. You know, can mean people be nice? Yes or no? Yes or no? Of course they are, when they're in a nice state. Can nice people be mean? Sure, they get a mean state. So really learning to train yourself to be in an ideal state where the best of you comes out for yourself, for your family, for your mission, for your world, for your coworkers. To me, that's one of the most important decisions in life to make. If you ask me, out of all the people I've met, all the things I've seen, you know, what creates a magnificent life? You know, everybody has goals and dreams that are different. Some people want, you know, picket fence. Some want to make $1 billion. Some, you know, want to have this huge breakthrough in technology. Some people want to write beautiful poetry. Whatever is right for people is what I want them for themselves. I don't want them to be like me or you or anybody else. I want them to have their dream. But to have it, you need two skills. You need, number one, to have the science of achievement. It's a science. You have to know how to take your vision and make it real. And most of the people in this room have already figured that out. And this guy sure as hell has, and you have, and I have. So most of us know, and we can all refine our skills in that area. But we know how to take what we dream about, make it real. And if you don't, you can learn from somebody who does. You know, the simplest thing is get crazily hungry for something. We all know when you get so hungry, so desirous, your brain starts coming up with answers. And then it's massive action, but effective execution, which is all modeling, which is, I assume, what this is about. Find the best example, compress the time. Let someone else take 20 years to figure it out. You do it in 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever the period is. We should all be standing on the shoulders of the people around us instead of reinventing the wheel. And then there's this thing called grace. You know, if you work your ass off, you're totally focused, you're trying to serve something larger than yourself, and you really are executing what works, you need a little grace. You might want to call it luck if you prefer, God, the universe, but it's there. And we can all achieve. But I think the more important skill, if you ask me, is to have an extraordinary life is the art of fulfillment. And it's an art. It's not a science. Because there's a science to making money. I don't care who you are. If you do certain things, you're going to have too much financial stress. You do other things, you're going to have an abundance. There's a science. There's a science to your body. Everyone here is biochemically different genome, but there's certain fundamental patterns that if you and I follow them, you're going to have tons of energy, you're going to feel good. If you break them, you're going to pay the price and have low energy or disease. But fulfillment is an art. What's going to fulfill you is different than the other person next to you. You're not going to learn that from anybody else. You got to find it, because success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. And I get those phone calls all the time for the multi-billionaire entrepreneur or politician or business person or a person just won their Academy Award and they're depressed and they can't tell anybody because they got all their goals, but they're not fulfilled because they really don't have that sense of meaning in their life. They went for something and they got it. They achieved. And if you doubt this, what I'm saying is relevant to you or us or anyone, just think about a month ago, we lost what I consider to be a national treasure, Robin Williams. How many of you loved Robin Williams? Look around the room, keep your hands up, look. And most of you didn't know him. Almost every, and anywhere you go in the world, people love Robin Williams. By the way, was he great at achievement? Oh my God, that guy, he said he wanted to become a great comedian. He did that. I want to make the world laugh. He did. I want to make my own TV show. He did. I want to have the #1 TV show. He did it. I want to make movies. He did it. I want an Academy Award for not being funny. Not his skill set, drama, and he did it. I want a beautiful family, and he did it. And then he hung himself. Make everybody happy but yourself. Not a good plan. So if I had a gift to give you, it would be maybe make a different decision. And the decision is that no matter what happens in your life, you're going to live in a beautiful state. A beautiful state. And that could be happy, that could be grateful, that could be being generous. Those are all beautiful states, aren't they? It could be curious. It could be fun. It could be playful. You're not limited to one state, but it's different than suffering. And most people's suffering, and all suffering I've ever seen, I've traveled to 100 countries. I've dealt with presidents of countries and, presidents of businesses, CEOs. I've dealt with people in prison. I've dealt with, you name it, average people. Suffering always comes because you're obsessed about something related to you. You can only be depressed if you're focusing on yourself. You say, no, I'm depressed because it's my kids and they're not doing well. No, you're depressed because you feel you failed your kids. It's about you. It's about how you think what you should have done or shouldn't have done or what someone did to you or didn't do to you in the past or the future, which don't even exist. So I have a simple goal. My goal is help people make a decision that says, I don't know what's going to happen. You might get a divorce, even though you don't think so. You might find a member of your family with cancer. You can't control those things. I can't control those things. I don't want those to happen to you or anybody I love or anybody who's even a stranger to me, but they're going to happen. True? Not positive thinking bullshit, just the truth. So if that's going to happen, I say make a decision now that says, I'm going to live in a beautiful state and I'm going to find beauty in whatever life brings me. Because life is too short not to. I see a little buddy over here named Sean. I remember when I got a phone call from the Make-A-Wish Foundation saying, have a young man that's about to die and he wants to meet you. And he came to the seminar, and then I took him out afterwards. And at the time, if he coughed too much, they said, you can't grab him. I said, I want to take him across the fire. They said, take him across the fire? I said, if he coughs, he'll break a rib. I said, I'll be really gentle. We're going to do this thing. And he did it. The bottom line is this young man over here who now is at a different stage of life, he's always been who he is. I think he lived because he lived for more than himself. I'm sure he felt pain, but we only suffer when we think about what's being done to us or what people are going to think or what they should have done or hadn't done, and you can't control that stuff anyway. I mean, why be pissed when people are going to do that? Are people going to be mean? Yes or no? Are people going to be unfair and unjust? Yes or no? Are people going to be beautiful and generous? Yes or no? You just never know when that shit's going to happen, so might as well enjoy yourself along the way. And I suggest today, if you want, if there's any gift I came by to give you, it's to tell you what you know already to get you to make a decision about it. To actually decide, I'm going to live in a beautiful state. That doesn't mean I don't get angry or pissed or tired. Suffering arises and you end it the moment you go, holy shit, I'm thinking about me. If I do this, I'll always be suffering. The human mind is always looking for what's wrong. The human brain is not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you survive. Happiness, that's your job. And you only get it if you draw a line in the sand. That's how it's going to be. And I can tell you the few people that do it, I know a few people that have done it, they have magnificent lives.
One of my life mantras that saves my butt every single day of the week is this idea that clarity comes from engagement, not thought. So you can be, sitting on your couch and wrestling with two options, whether it's which business should I start? Should I stay in this relationship or not? Should I go back to school or should I, stay in this job? There's a million things that all of us kind of struggle with each and every day. And one of the things that's helped me, and I remember it was actually tied back to when I was considering whether or not to go for some type of career in dance. Now, I never had any formal dance training. My dance experience really was me moonwalking across my mom's linoleum floor in my white socks to like Michael Jackson. That's as far as the dance training I had. But I love to dance. And when I was starting my life coaching business at 23, one of the things that was awesome about that experience was getting a chance to really look at all my own beliefs and my own desires and what was in my own heart. And that's when I started to really identify that I didn't just want to be a coach and I didn't want to just focus on one specific thing. And I loved spirituality, I loved business, I loved marketing, I loved personal development, but I also loved fitness and I also loved dance. And so I was having a hard time reconciling what to call myself, what to focus on. It was really a confusing time in my life and it was really frustrating because I had a lot of drive and I wanted to help people and I wanted to make a difference, but I didn't and I couldn't figure out how I fit into society. So this idea of dance just didn't leave me alone. And I remember just saying to myself, like, if I don't actually go and take a class, like, how am I gonna know? And so I went and I took my first ever professional dance class at Broadway Dance Center. And getting into that class, I was terrified because, in the dance world, unfortunately, if you're 25 years old, in the hip hop world, you're kind of over the hill, which is disgusting to say.
You were the old woman in the room.
And that's crazy. Like, that is insane to say. And it's not true everywhere, but I remember going into that class and it was like the warm-up section and I just sat down on this wooden floor and I moved myself in the back because I was terrified that I would make people trip or that people would laugh at me. And I just sat on the floor and the music came on and I started crying because it felt so right. And I'm like, why have I tortured myself for like 3 years going like, could I dance? Should I dance? Should I try to dance? I mean, I tortured myself for years about that and was miserable. And so this idea, clarity comes from engagement, not thought. If you're wrestling with something, do anything you can to move towards the thing that you think you want. If you're not sure if you should stay in a relationship, it's like, give that relationship everything you can. Go get some couples therapy, talk to somebody, say, I want to work on this. If it's a career that you might want to investigate or you might want to move towards, like, go take a class, intern, get yourself embedded in that field somehow to test it, because your body has a truth, it has a natural knowing that you can never access through your mind alone. And I think that once you engage with your body and you actually take action, there is this flood of intelligence that you have access to that you cannot get any other way.
Hello. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening now. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, can you please type in yes, please? If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, can you please type in yes? Okay. Good evening, and you're welcome to today's open house training with Great White FX. Well, some of you may know me, and some of you may not know me, but I'm just like how do you say? Let's say I'm a trainer, an analyst, and a trading mentor. I've been in this business for a very long time, and I didn't just start today. So when I talk, I know what I'm saying. So let me just give you guys a brief of, let me just show you something. So if you look at this, this is 2008. No, this is not the one I intended to show you guys. Let me see. Nope, not this one. I'm trying to find it. Trying to find it. Let's see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. This is when I first started my journey into FX. Can you see the date? Can you guys see the date? It's just a date I want you to see. This is February 14th. That's like Valentine's Day 2008. First material I paid for was $545. I paid it from forexmentor.com. And it will not be the first. There will be many others. Let me see. Let me see. There will be many other materials I paid for. This is 1,545. Let me see if I'll get the other one. Yep. There's one. It's still 545. This was my first trading account. My first trading account. I opened this account. You see, it's still 2008. I opened this account with $2,000. I practically didn't know what I was doing, but when I was closing the account, I was closing it with $2,733. I practically didn't know what I was doing. And just like many of you, I was in that shoes for a very long time ago. This is another material. Remember the first one was 545. This is another material. This is another material. I paid for another material. That was in October for another material. So, and then I've gone with indicators. Like I've gone with the best of indicators. I've spent money on the best of indicators. And I'll tell you, indicators don't practically work. If you know these people, they call them Vantage Point. I paid for this in 2013. I paid $3,500 for it. You might believe me, you might not believe me, but you will not get an activation key if you don't pay for it. So why am I showing you guys all this? Basically one thing. I've been in this business longer than any of you, or maybe some people might have been in it longer than I am. If you can hear me clearly, please type in yes. Somebody is saying they can't hear anything. If you can hear me clearly, please can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. If you can hear me clearly and see my screen, please type in yes. Okay, so the person saying you can't hear anything, you may need to disconnect and connect back. It will help you. You'll be able to hear me clearly. So why am I telling you guys this? There's a lot to this business than many of you are going through. There's pretty a lot in this business. So before I go today, our topic today will be trading psychology and an intro to a brief intro to trading supply and demand, or as some people will call it, institutional order flow. So Before we go into that, I would want you guys to listen with rapt attention to the next video I'm going to be playing. I would appreciate if you guys can really pay attention to what this man is going to say, because once I started getting this aspect of trading, I can tell you that my trading started to improve. Things started getting better for me in trading. So I would appreciate if you guys can really pay attention to the next audio. It would really do you a lot of good. So it's about to start now. It's an audio.
Reprogramming the subconscious means conscious mind, wishes, and desires. Subconscious mind program. Well, what if you took the wishes and desires and made those programs? Then guess what? You don't even have to think about it. You will automatically, 95% of the day, be playing behaviors to manifest those wishes and desires. If you put a pair of earphones on at night with a program of what you would like to be true in your life, as soon as your conscious mind disconnects, that program is playing. It's not playing into your conscious mind, that's shut off. It's now going straight into the subconscious mind. Having a positive thought does not in any way necessitate that those positive thoughts actually manifest themselves. And there's a piece that was left out. And if you don't understand the piece, then you're shouting into the wind with your positive thoughts. Nothing's going to happen. And the fact is this: when you're having positive thoughts, you're using your mind. The mind influences biology, but there are two parts to the mind that are completely different than one another, yet they work together. We confuse them, we tie them together, and yet they represent two entities working in two different fashions. There's the conscious mind and what is called the subconscious mind. Now, here's what it's very important, people have to know this, okay, and here's what it is. The conscious mind is our creative mind that is connected to our personal identity and our spiritual selves. That makes us all unique. Each of us has our own personal conscious mind. But what becomes very significant is this, is the subconscious mind is equivalent to a tape player. It's exactly what it is. It records experiences and then plays them back. And so now let's take a look and say, well, wait, there's a thinking mind, and then there's a tape player mind. And what's different about them is very profound. When you look at the power between the conscious and subconscious is 1,000,000 times more powerful. The subconscious mind runs our biology about 95 to 99% of the time. So while you're having all these wonderful thoughts, that's not the conscious mind's not running the show. It's a subconscious mind. So blaming the subconscious mind as a negative thing that's the first mistake. It's a tape player. The programs that we got, that's the source of the problems that most of us face. And these programs could limit our abilities and take away our powers, which essentially they do. Now, the relevance about positive thinking is this. Positive thinking is a creative thought that comes from the conscious mind. Okay, so I sit here and I'm going to have all these wonderful thoughts. I'm going to close my eyes and visualize all these wonderful things. Now stop and go back to the mechanical character of it. I'm having these thoughts with a little tiny processor called the conscious mind, and I'm competing with the programs that are in the subconscious mind. So if I have a thought for being healthy or being in a good relationship, and I'm doing positive thinking, and at the same time, I have acquired programs in my development that said, you're not as healthy as you think you are, and you're not that good a person to have those kind of relationships. Then look, I'm now pitting my positive thoughts against my programs, and they're opposite. But this one works on a little tiny processor, and this processor is 1,000,000 times more powerful. So right away, it's like, who's going to win in that challenge? The answer, of course, the subconscious is going to win, okay? But here comes the other part. While I can try to maintain positive thoughts in my life using my conscious mind, this conscious mind only operates less than 5% of the day. That says 95% or more of the day, I'm operating from the other belief system. The point is, do the math. How powerful are positive thoughts? And the answer is, unless the subconscious has the same programs in agreement as the conscious mind, power of positive thinking will not work. It will not work because you're competing against a much more powerful processor. So the idea is, when life doesn't work, when you don't find that relationship that your positive thinking was looking for, when you don't get that health that you were looking for because your positive thinking was asking for it, we have a tendency, therefore, to blame the outside world because, as far as I know,
Hello. Let me rewind this a bit. I want to rewind this a bit so that you guys will get this very, very vital aspect. Let me rewind.
Subconscious has the same programs and agreement as the conscious mind. How powerful are positive thoughts? And the answer is, unless the subconscious has the same programs and agreement as the conscious mind, power of positive thinking will not work. It will not work because you're competing against a much more powerful processor. So the idea is, when life doesn't work, when you don't find that relationship that your positive thinking was looking for, when you don't get that health that you were looking for because your positive thinking was asking for it, we have a tendency, therefore, to blame the outside world because, as far as I know, my intention was for all these wonderful things. And when I don't get it, it can't be me because I have all these wonderful positive intentions. What we didn't see was, while we were having those positive intentions, using our conscious mind for those positive intentions, the subconscious was running the show. And we didn't see that we generally sabotage and destroy or limit our own lives with behaviors that are not supporting us. Every night when you go to bed, just when you're just falling off into sleep, consciousness is disconnecting. The next period of your brain operation while your consciousness is disconnected is theta, which is the same brain function as in the first 7 years. So if you put a pair of earphones on at night with a program of what you would like to be true in your life, as soon as your conscious mind disconnects, that program is playing. It's not playing into your conscious mind, that's shut off. It's now going straight into the subconscious mind. So it's called auto-hypnosis. You don't need to go see a hypnotherapist. You just have to pick out what program would you like to have that you don't have, and they sell these programs in all kinds of places. Okay. So reprogramming the subconscious with wishes and desires means you don't even have to think about it. You will be successful because 95% of the day, your program automatically will be seeking your wishes.
Okay. So, I hope everybody got value from this little audio. Or would you guys want me to play it again? If you got value from it, let me have your response. If you got value from it, let me have your response, because that will be the foundation from what I'm trying to build upon. Because a lot of people who come into trading don't understand this concept. If your subconscious and your conscious are not in harmony, there's nothing you are doing that will work. If your conscious and your subconscious are not in harmony, there's nothing in trading that you do that is going to work. And if you understand from what he said your subconscious is a tape player. And what is it playing? It is playing the history of all you've gone through in your life. So now this is where the problem is. It controls almost, according to, I think you said it's 90% or more of whatever you do every day. And the sad part of it is you're not aware your subconscious is running the show. It's automatic. It's a tape player. So now, this is the dangerous aspect of it in trading when you're not aware of it. If your tape recorder is filled with limiting beliefs, proud beliefs, as in when I mean limiting beliefs, you feel life is happening to you. You feel you're a victim. Maybe things have not been going through well. You've been struggling through so many things. When you come into trading, that is what you'll be expecting to see. And that is what you will find. Even if you say with your mouth, I will succeed, your subconscious is playing failure. There's no two ways out of it. There's just no two ways out of it. There's just no two ways. Even if your conscious is saying, I will succeed, you shout, you profess everything, it will not work because your subconscious is programmed into failure. And that is a very, very major problem in trading, because then when you come into trading, what you'll be seeking out for is you'll be seeking out only those events that will reinforce what is in your subconscious. So you'll find out that you will engage in some self-sabotaging trading habits. You will take trades that will not work to reinforce what you believe about the market. Some of you might not believe, but it is better you listen to somebody telling you than for you to find out yourself. And if you remember, how did he say you can correct it? He says you listen to some, because when your conscious is disconnected, your subconscious is still aware. Your subconscious is still awake. So when you listen to those programs at night, what it does is that it helps reprogram your subconscious. I always tell my students to meditate, but some of them don't understand the importance. Let me break it down for you. There's a part of your brain called the amygdala, and then there's a part of your brain called the neocortex. The function of the amygdala is to control 95% of your body functions. Now, let me ask you a question. You don't control your heartbeat. Your heart is a pump. It works without your control. You don't think before you blink your eye. It is not your thoughts that pump your blood. It's not your thoughts that keep your senses active and all that stuff. It is done automatically for you. You're not aware of it. That part of your brain that part of the function is controlled by the brain, part of the brain called the amygdala. Now, as a trader, the part of your brain if you can hear me, if you're hearing me talk, please, can you type in yes? If you've been hearing what I've been saying, can you type in yes, please? I think some people are having problems. If you can't hear me, please, you may need to log out and log back in. It is your network. If you can't hear me, you need to log out and log back in. It is your network. Thank you. So, as I was saying, so when that's why I hate interruptions. It disrupts my flow. So a part of your brain needed for you to trade effectively is your neocortex. And the deal with the neocortex is that the neocortex, the neocortex is only active for 5% of the time. So your trading decisions are made with the intellectual part of your brain, which resides in the neocortex. So you see now, this is a challenge. 95% of your trading decisions, 95% of your body functions are done by your subconscious part of your brain, 95%. So that leaves you with 9% and 5% of your subconscious, of your conscious intellectual brain. So you now see, there's a bit of a challenge, because now you need 5% of your intellectual brain to be able to trade properly against 95% that you're not aware of, that is automatic. So you now see the challenge. Now that is where you need to align your subconscious and your conscious. And that is where meditation and what Dr. Bruce Lipton advised comes in. Because when you align the subconscious part of your brain and the conscious part of your brain, then there is congruence in your desires and intentions. And that is when your trading success will really improve. That is when your trading functions will really, really, really improve. Some people might say, it's meditation, blah, 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 blah. Well, let me tell you one thing. There's almost no successful trader that doesn't engage in any form of meditation. Most trading houses have what you call an in-house psychologist, and they employ so many tools to keep their traders top notch. So you as a trader, you as a newbie coming into this business, you're trying to compete against the best. And if you're not top notch, if you're not up to the best you're trying to compete with, it's unfortunate, you're going to lose always. Because some of you get so scared that even when you're trading demo, you'll be afraid to take trades on your demo. I always tell people, some of you might say IML is a scam. IML is not a scam. The deal is that to succeed in this trading business, you need time. If you're going to do it alone, IML is a good opportunity. They've provided lots of mentors to help you with. So some of you might know me from my stay with them, Profit Arcade IML. I don't have any issues against IML. What you need to understand is that to succeed in this business, you need experience. You might have knowledge, you don't have experience. Without experience, you can't succeed in this business. And one other way to get it is you find a mentor. A mentor has made all the mistakes you can make. When you learn from a mentor, he helps make it easy for you to navigate. He tells you what to do, you do it straight up, and you have no issues. Your trading becomes flawless. But as long as you try to do it on your own, can we all keep our mics on mute, except you have a question? I didn't mute everybody. Everybody is allowed. If you want to unmute, you can unmute and ask a question. But please keep your mics on mute. You can hear me, except you have a question. You unmute yourself and ask the question. Thank you very much. So that is where it comes in, because a lot of people, like I always say, pardon my term, I always use this term. I always say village people. But the deal is this, I always tell people, if you look in the mirror, whoever you see in the mirror is your village people. Whoever you see in the mirror is your village people. If you see a different person in the mirror, then you have a bigger problem. Because you are your own problem in this business. You are your own problem in this business. Your success is determined by your effort. A lot of people, their ego is so big, it limits their success. Like they will say in the Yoruba term, Omo Ejimi, do you know who I am? Why would you talk to me like that? You bring that mindset into trading. The market does not care about you. The market does not know you exist. That's why I tell people, this business will make you a perfect Christian without Bible or Quran. It will teach you pure humility. Pure humility. Because a lot of people, they are so egoistic. They feel the world revolves around them. And when you come into the market, the Forex market is an ocean. It's bigger than an ocean. Nobody. It will take you and it will look like as if nothing happened. So you need to learn to balance all this. That's why it's always said that the best brains don't always do well in trading, because their ego is always their problem. They feel because you've been able to manipulate your external environment, you've been able to bend the external environment, when you come into trading, the same thing will happen. It does not work that way. It does not work that way. A lot of people coming into this business don't know themselves. Like there's something that Sun Tzu says. Let me see if I can get it and share with you guys. Let me see. It says, it's from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. It says, thus it is said that one who knows the enemy and knows himself will not be endangered in 100 engagements. One who does not know the enemy but knows himself will sometimes be victorious, sometimes meet with defeat. One who knows neither the enemy nor himself will invariably be defeated in every engagement. most people coming into trading are in this last group. They know neither the market nor themselves. Some of them might have what you call beginner's luck. They might make some money. It ingrains at the habit. They had no process. They had no strategy. All they know is they saw candle going up, they coming down, they are buying, they are selling, they are making money. They are smiling like people that are high on some substances. When the system starts to fail, they would not know, they would not adapt because it has been working for them. It has become a habit. It has been working. I've been doing this, it has been working. They always try to repeat that same thing. And invariably, what does the market do? The market teaches them a lesson. Some learn, get better. Some continue with their old ways until the pain is too much to bear. They walk away. And when they walk away, they will come and say, Forex is a scam. Forex is not a scam. It's just that you have scammers coming into Forex. You can't scam the market. It's not possible. You can't scam the market. The market will deal with you unmercifully. And there's one other thing. I didn't used to get this, but it was always being said. I didn't used to get it. I didn't used to pay attention to it. But there's something they always say. They said when your trade is not based off the need for money, that is when your trading will improve. I never used to get it until I started doing a lot of mental and psychological exercises. Trading, once your trading is viewed as an exercise, you're not trying to make money. Money is a byproduct of a process. Money is not the process. Money is a byproduct. When you follow a certain set of rules properly, money will come to you. And a lot of people are inherently greedy. Some people are just inherently greedy. Desire for possessions must not be. That's why I tell people, all these traders you see, some people will disagree with me, but the most successful traders do not flash their success. Because those who do that, they've not learned humility. The market teaches you humility. Humility and flamboyance don't move together. You see people place money, they flashy cars, they are popping champagne, all that stuff. That is the life most people are wanting, easy way out. And that is what those people sell to you. And when they sell it to you, you follow them, then you find out it is not like that. Then some people start screaming blue blood, blue mother. Trading requires a lot of discipline, a lot of planning, a lot of focus. Most people coming into trading are looking for an easy way out. I was like them in the beginning. I was like most of them in the beginning. But the market has taught me a bitter lesson. There is no free lunch in the market. You need to work for it. And once you start making it, trading will become boring. For now, most of you, trading is like you're trying to take drugs. You look at your charts, it gives you a feel. There's this adrenaline rush and trading. It will continue like that till you decide to tell yourself the truth. You need to work on your mindset. Once you get your mindset ready and in order, everything in trading will start to take shape. You can't build a 40-story building with a poor foundation. If you try it, the building will fall on itself. If your psychological mindset is not in order in trading, anything you gain will eventually be donated back to the market. There's one thing I tell people, the formula for success in this business is simple. You need knowledge. To your knowledge, add experience. And what will the two give you? Knowledge plus experience will give you confidence. What does confidence do for you? Confidence cancels fear. Because when your fear is erased, you take trades without fear or worry. You take trades without fear or worry. So please and please, I beg of you guys, if you've not been trying to do meditations, I beg of you, give it a try. It would help break down the barriers to your trading success. And to some of you, it would seem difficult. There's what they call the monkey brain syndrome. When you're trying to do it, because your subconscious, the old you, knows what you're trying to do, it would fight you. Your brain would refuse to stay steady. It's called self-awareness, being still and in the moment. It would want to run in so many directions. Some people, they get frustrated, they stop. Do not stop, keep pushing. Before you know it, you will get it. And once you get it, you'll find out that there will be this peace and calm that will come over you. Things that you fought and struggled to do, you'll be doing it easily and effortlessly. So, I wouldn't want to talk too much on this topic because I can talk for hours. I could talk for hours on this topic. So, that is where I'll be stopping for today on the psychological aspect of trading. So let's get into the aspect of trading with which we are here for today. So the aspect of trading we'll be talking about today is what you call demand and supply. To some of you, it is some people call it order flow. Some people call it order flow. So some people call it order flow, but what it is supply and demand. So how does it operate? The market operates based on what you call liquidity. What do I mean by liquidity? At every price level, there are pending orders placed there. The bigger the levels, the orders placed at a certain price level, the more difficult it is for price to break that level. The more time price comes to a certain price level and gets rejected, because most people, we were taught when we started trading that the more time a level holds, the stronger it is. It is wrong. The more time a level is tested, the greater the possibility of it breaking. Why? Because it means that there are positions at that level. Like if we look at this location here now, this area here now, can you guys see my screen? If you can see my screen, please type in yes. If you can see my screen, type in yes. One of my students in the class, she can remember this chart. This was her assignment. She did this chart. And I still kept it. I still kept the chart. This was her assignment. The more time price comes to a certain level, the orders there are being absorbed. What do I mean by absorbed? Like price comes into this area, it moves up. That means there are buy positions here. It comes in, it moves up. It comes down, it moves up. It comes down, the buyers coming. Comes down, the buyers coming. Comes down, the buyers coming. Comes down, the buyers coming till it breaks. What has been happening throughout all this time? All the major buy orders here have been absorbed until there was none again. And what happened? It fell down. Not that it fell down, it broke through that level. The same principle happens at resistance area. So now, how does this play out? At the point at which the level is broken, there's a sharp move. It is caused by an absence of liquidity. You look at this area. is caused by an absence of liquidity. So when this happens, what does it mean? That most times, because it went too fast, too soon, most times they will come back to look for liquidity. So what happens is that people who see this move, they don't understand what is involved. They will say, it's going down, let me sell. They just sold the end of the move. And what will happen? Price will pull back up. And if you notice, price pulled back into this place. And once it pulled back into this place, what happened? It dropped again. Because if you're looking at this chart on the 1 hour, you can say, yes, this is a bullish candle. If you didn't see this, you say it's a bullish candle. And after that, what happened? Price dropped to the downside. Because if you were looking at this is a bullish candle. But this is the origin of this impulse, of this major drop. Because there were no more other positions here. So what happened? Price dropped immediately. And so now, this is how you now play out your supply and demand. This is how you now play it out. So you can see the trade. Let me digress a bit, my people. My student just answered. This was her trade. She took this trade from here. It came down twice. And do you see what happened? It moved up. Now, people would see this big candle and say it is moving up. They will place a buy position. But unknown to them, this was the origin of a major drop. And what happened? With all this big move, what happened? Price started dropping. With all this massive move, people bought here. Those who didn't know what the business is all about, they bought here. And what happened? The trade went 54 pips against them. So these are some of the things. So now, how do you identify supply and demand on your chart? It's very simple. Let me see if I can pull up another chart. Let me see. Okay, now let me use this chart. First and foremost, one thing you need to do is you need to zoom out of your chart. You don't, when you're doing this, you don't zoom into your chart. You need to zoom out. What do I mean by zoom out? You need to look at your chart from a map perspective. So when you do that, the first thing you do is, this is a little secret, you switch to line chart. When you switch to line chart, what you're looking for, first, you need to find out where price is. You need to first locate where price is. So when you locate where price is, you're already on your line chart. Advisable, preferably 4 hours is okay. Because most people are intraday traders. So 4 hours is safe enough. So what you need to look for on this line chart is a straight line, straight movement. You're not looking for anything that looks like noodles or spaghetti. No, you need a straight, very straight. So when you find out, what do? You go to your toolbox. As you go to your MT4, you draw your rectangle. You go to your rectangle, you pick it up like this, you zoom it out. Then you look for where you find others, because you're looking for the origin. If it is up, you look for the origin of the up move. If it's a down move, you look for the origin of the down move. So I can do this, and I can do something here. Then if I drop down to my 1 hour chart, I zoom out again because I need to see it clearly. I drop down to my 1 hour chart. I can see there's something here, there's something here. So what do? I move this up here again to the origin of that move, and then I move this up here again to the origin of this move. So if I drop down now to my 1 hour time frame, I change back to candles, then look back at the chart. Now you can see it is well laid out. So you see this big move, this big drop here. Somebody who didn't know where this price was, would have placed a sell position here. And immediately the person placed the sell position, what happened? Price is going the other way. Price would immediately move the other way. Why? Because those that have vested interest, they know where they are looking to gain entries into the market from. Do I have any question? You can unmute yourself and ask any question you want. If you have any question with what I've just explained so far. So let me look for an example to show you guys where it played out, because I saw one somewhere here. Where is it again? Where is it again? Where is it again? And you must remember, nothing is 100% in this business. That's where risk and money management comes in. That's where risk and money management comes in. That's where they come into play. Nothing works 100% in this business. So there's one here. Let's look at this here. We switch to line chart. We see this sharp drop here. I pick, assuming I didn't see this. Let's assume we don't have this. I come in here. I pick this line chart. I put it at the origin here. Let's assume price is already coming up to this place. I have this move here. It's not so smooth, but it will do. I pick this here. And I also have, there's something here too. I can put here and here. Then what do? I switch back to my candles. You see this move? What did price do when it came in here? Straight up, it moved away. But then, what did it do here? It spiked above this place, gave people the impression it's still going up. Then what did it do? It dropped a bit before moving back up. Demand and supply is not support and resistance. My reasons for choosing those levels is very simple. Like I said, you go to your line chart. When you go to your line chart, you are looking for a straight move. You're not looking for moves that look like Indomie noodles or telephone coil. No. Or spaghetti. No. You're looking for ruler kind of moves. You look for the origin of those moves. Mrs. Alegbe, I would have taught you guys this, but your group, they are not behaving properly. I would have taught your class, Mr. Alegbe, I would have taught your class this, but they are not doing their assignments. Their assignments, it's not a question of need to learn. Most of them are not doing their assignments. And so if you're not doing your assignment, what it means is that what you're being taught, you're either not getting it or something is wrong, because your assignment is saying you get what you're being taught. But when you're not doing your assignment and you're not asking for explanations, it means maybe village people are still operating with the person or with the people. I would have taught you guys this by now, but I'm still hopeful. The 1 week grace I gave you guys, I'll be able to, if you guys impress me, I'll be able to teach you guys this. So once you've done this, it's very easy to trade. Excuse me. And so you see what happened here? You see what happened here? So you see the layout. So once you just have this laid out, and there's one thing, you don't learn this on your live account. A lot of people are running into live accounts. I laugh. You know why I laugh? Nobody, excuse me. Nobody will, okay, now you have an instance, a situation. You know somebody that has a heart condition, and they say, they need to do open heart surgery. And then a medical student comes, he's talking, you are impressed. Then the medical student now tells you that he just graduated from medical school like 2 weeks ago. Will you still submit that person to that medical student for open heart surgery? I need your answers. Will you still submit that person to for that medical student to do the open heart surgery? I need your answers. Somebody says no. Why won't you submit? Give the person now. Is he not a medical student? He's a medical student. He has graduated now. So submit for open heart surgery. People are not replying. It's like some people get where I'm going to. Those people, he says it's too early. Too early to die or too early for what? But a lot of people have no experience. How do you know he doesn't have experience? Didn't he go to medical school? He went to medical school now, so he's supposed to have experience. So somebody says knowledge without experience. And that person that says knowledge without experience, that is excellent. And that is a problem. And that is what many of you who come into trading and rush to live account are doing. You just go and get this, you get knowledge, no experience, you go into live account. You would not submit somebody for heart surgery to somebody that just graduated 7 years experience. 7 years experience is not enough. 7 years experience is not yet enough. But you will come into Forex trading, get education, get knowledge for 1 month, and the next thing you are jumping into live account. It's very, very unfortunate. That money, you will donate it to the market eventually. You may win, but eventually you will give it back. You don't have any experience. Where do you gain experience? That medical student, while he was in school, there's what they call cadaver. That was what he was practicing on. That was what he was practicing on, not real, not live, not people that are alive. We were using cadavers. But you come in, you're not doing demo. They say do demo. You are looking for live account. You're looking for where the money is. You're rushing there. You've not gained experience. It's just like somebody, many of you fly. Assuming now you come into a plane, then over the intercom you hear, welcome to flight blah, blah, blah. My name is so and so. I'll be your pilot for today. I just finished learning how to fly yesterday. Many of you will jump down from the plane. Many people will manufacture imaginary phone calls that they need to attend a meeting that they are not traveling again. And somebody says, I will run. Why will you run? Stay in the plane now. He just finished learning how to fly yesterday now. Doesn't he have experience? Where are you running to? Well, many of you will come into this business and run to open live account. That's where the problem is. I remember when David Imonite came, he said you must be willing to spend 6 months or more in this business to get it. And you just need to. Now let me show you something. This thing that I'm teaching you now, this is it on volatility 75. This is it on volatility 75. For some of you that would think it doesn't work, it works. This is it on volatility 75. And moreover, this is 15 minutes. What you don't know, this is my second position. Let me look for the first one. This is where's the history? This today. So somebody will not say this 24th. This was today. There's still another position still running. Because this one, I put the TP here. Price came down, didn't hit it. Volatility 75 is binary. What I'm showing you this is, this system works on any market once you are patient and disciplined. Do you see what happened? It rallied up. Do you see this? There's something here. There's a demand here. Rallied into it. You see this big bearish candle, and what happened? It moved up. It works. It's just that you need to combine this with so many other things. This is not the ultimate, but it is in top league with the ultimate. It is not the ultimate, but it is in top league with the ultimate. Because you've learned this doesn't mean you throw away every other thing. No, you need to, you must have an understanding of your different types of support and resistance, your channels. There are 3 types of support and resistance. You have the horizontal, you have the diagonal, and you have the dynamic. The horizontal are things like this. These are your horizontal support and resistance. The diagonals are your trend lines and your channels. These are your diagonal support and resistance. You can see here, this is your diagonal support and resistance. Then you have the dynamic. The dynamic are your moving averages. You need to have an understanding of this. So when you have a proper understanding of this, it makes it easy for you to be able to interpret and dissect a chart. Most people fail in this business because they don't have a plan. Some who have a plan, the next thing they have a plan, they will listen to somebody who they believe knows or they assume knows more than them. Eventually, what happens? They leave their own plan and follow the person's plan. Most often than not, their own plan works out, and the person they followed, his plan takes water. It's a result of lack of self-confidence and self-belief. I've had bad experiences with that. So like I always say, there's this adage, they say, the rat does not go swimming with the lizard, because by the time the lizard comes out dry, the rat is nowhere dry. So in this business, your entire account can be somebody's 2%. So the fact that somebody is telling you take a trade you have no experience in, you can lose money. The person will tell you it has hit TP. You will think the person is lying. No, the person is not lying. Price never hit a stop loss, but your entire account got wiped out. So these are things you need to understand in this market. If you can't get this right, you just can't make it in this business. There's just no way out. If you can't get it right, you can't make it in this business. So like I just showed you people, the supply and demand, you just need to get it right. First thing you do, like these levels you're looking at on this chart, some of them I drew it from the 15 minutes, but majority of them I drew from the higher time frame. As you can see my chart, this is 4 hour, this is 1 hour, and this is 15 minutes. So I have it drawn on all time frames. So at any point in time, I am aware of what price is doing at any of those charts. So if we look at this now, if we go back to our normal currency pair, it's the same thing. This works on any chart, almost any chart. I know some of you are trading the indices, U30 and the rest. It also does the same thing. It works there. As you can see, so now somebody who was trading on Friday probably will see this big candle, and the person will say, it is going to sell. Smarter people will not take this sell. Instead, they will take a buy. You'll be like, why are you buying? See the big candle, but what is happening? You might be surprised by the time price comes out on Monday, it may rally up to this point, drop a bit, and move higher. Because if you look at chart, if you look at the price, what is price telling you? Price is telling you it's gradually in an uptrend. Let me pick this from this. You see why I said you need to have an understanding of your trend line. Do you see it? You just need to be able to do the work. So do you see how this trend line intersects with this demand area? And what happens? Price just turns. Do I have questions? Because it's almost after 10. The class was for 1 hour. Do I have questions? Do I have questions? Do I have questions?
Yes, please. Thank you so much for the knowledge and the counseling. Well appreciated.
Okay.
Please, after marking up our charts like
I
this,
can't hear you. I
how-
can't hear you clearly.
okay, after marking up the support and resistance and the trend lines, how then do we execute the trades? What and what do we look for to know that, oh, or is it that when it is just when we see it touching the supply area, we buy?
You know, there are two. What you're asking for is advanced class. I teach it in an advanced class, but this is what you do. There are two types of entry when you're using supply and demand. You have pending orders and instant execution.
Okay.
You can use a pending order at the demand zone. Once price hits it, it activates it. The other system is you wait for price to come in there and give you a confirmation candle. The deal with that is that, excuse me. The deal with that is this. When you're waiting for a confirmation candle, let me show you why. By the time you're waiting for a confirmation candle, this will be where you'll be getting your confirmation candle. Somebody who placed a pending here will be already up some pips. You will place your trade here and your stop loss will go here, which is 59 pips. But by the time before you see profit, it takes some time. The person who placed here, placed the stop loss, would have already moved it to break even. Mr. Saliu, I hope I got it right. Are you still there?
Yes, I am there. I got it.
So you get it. So that's just the way it operates. They don't trade this on live. I always tell my students, trade this for 3 months on demo. Why? It takes 21 days to create a habit and 90 days to create a lifestyle. Once it becomes a habit under 21 days and you do it for the next couple of days, it turns out to be 90 days. It becomes automatic. You don't question it. And you're trading it not for money, but for the structure. Anytime I see it anywhere, I trade it. Anytime I see it anywhere, I trade it. You're not trading money, you're trading the structure. Money is a byproduct of the structure. But when you're doing it with your live account, there is fear and hesitation, and that will be a challenge to you. You cannot succeed. You're drinking tea, sir. Can I get some tea? It's like you have cold. You have cold. Sorry, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Do I have any other question from any other person? Any other question before we call it a night? You can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Sir, I already typed my question.
Okay, you've typed your question. Let me see. What? Okay, looking at the last trend line you just drew. So do you mean that one could anticipate that price could go above the... You see this English, I don't understand it. Just help me type. Excuse me, can you just ask the question again? I don't do well with English. I went to night school.
Okay. What I'm saying is that diagonal trend line that you drew, if you look at the last one you drew, it extends to the price.
When I do this, this is what you will have. When you draw this, you have 2 points. Do you get? You need 2 points to connect the trend line.
Yes, sir.
So when you draw this, what you do is you wait to see what happens at that trend line when price gets to it. It bounced off it. And this is more powerful because at this place where price came into, there's a demand zone. So most often it will move. Because those that move the market, they have vested interest at those areas.
That's my problem, not theirs.
Any other question? Have I answered your question, ma?
Not really, sir.
Then you didn't ask properly. Ask properly.
Okay, what I'm saying is that trend line, the one you just touched now, if when you extended it, it's touching the price, that price line. Okay, and it's giving us a value, as in you can know the value there.
Yeah.
So are you saying, assuming I want to take maybe like a buy from where, okay, when if you look at where the price is now, if it comes back to that demand zone, and I want to take a buy, are you saying once I initiate the trade that I'll use my, let me say, take profit at that place where the trend line touches the price? Is that where I'll exit the trade?
No. What will you do?
Following the trend line.
See, this, what trend line is this? Is this a resistance or support trend line?
Yeah, support.
What do you do at support?
You buy.
So where are you talking of TP, exit at the trend line again?
Oh, sorry. I understand now. I was the one confusing myself. I understand it now, sir.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you very much. Any other question before we call it a night?
Hello, Mr. Gresham.
Hello, good evening. Who am I speaking with?
This is Mr. Wale.
Okay, Mr. Wale, how may I help you? What's your question?
Thank you for this. It's been really helpful. I have two questions. The first question is from what you said. You said if you draw the demand and supply zones, you draw it on the daily, 4 hourly,
No. See, it depends on what type of trader you are. Most people are intraday traders. Who is an intraday trader? Your trade does not exceed a day.
Okay.
It's under hours.
Okay.
Your best time frame is 4 hours. You start from 4 hours down.
Okay.
So you draw 4 hours, 1 hour, and 15 minutes. But you should understand that the higher preference, the higher time frame zones has more importance than lower time frame zones. But it does not mean you should ignore a lower time frame zone. You will pay for it. You will pay for it. I've seen it happen. You see 15-minute time frame zone just turn around the 1 hour movement. That's why I said you need to gain experience.
Okay. Thank you.
You draw it with a line graph. Somebody is asking me a question. I'm teaching you a shortcut. I was not taught with this shortcut. You need a line graph to draw it well, because when you use a line graph, you're looking for the origin of the straight move. The move has to happen first before you find it. Don't go looking for it when it has not happened. You will kill yourself. So, Mr. Wale, can I have your question?
Yes. So the second question is how long is the level valid?
Well, your money is made when price comes to that level the first time. Like if you look at this level now, this is where you make your money. The first time, there's money to be made there. If it's coming there the second time, that's when you just need to just leave it alone. It may work, it may not work.
Understand.
Okay.
Understand. Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any other question before I call it a night? If you finished with your question, can you please mute your mic, please? Just mute your mic for me. Thank you very much. Madam Olamide, your mic is still open.
Sorry, sir.
The recording, I don't know. The recording, I don't know, but I'll think about it. It's data I used to upload it. So, who else has a question before I call it a night? Any other person with any other question? Any other person with any other question? Okay. In the absence of any other question, I think we'll be calling it the night. Huh?
Good
Hello?
evening. Can you? Yes, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good evening.
Okay. I have a very quick question. Sorry, I called late.
Okay.
How do you the markings of the candles for the beginning and the close of each zone? Could you just take us through that quickly? Because I know you've done this.
I don't understand.
I'll make myself clear. Don't worry. When you use the line graph, it became we could see the straight line, but on the line graph we can't really mark out the range of each zone going. So how do we identify that so that we are actually keeping ourselves within that zone?
I don't understand. I went to night school, so I didn't go to Harvard. So understanding all this big English is a problem for me.
I know I'm not expressing myself the way I want to. I don't know why too. But either way, what I'm trying to say is this: you can't just because you've seen the line,
on a line
you identify the zone.
Wait, calm down. You draw a line chart. You switch to line chart. When you switch to line chart, you are looking for the origin of the move. When you find the origin of the move, you identify it. You take your zone and mark it out at that area. Then you switch back to your candles. Sometimes when you switch back to your candles, you find out that the wicks are excluded. You cover the wicks. So this is how it looks like.
Exactly my point. How is there a rule for excluding certain wicks that maybe they don't count, they are minors, they don't count?
It's experience. Experience will tell you, but you start from the origin and you get the last week within that area. On a smaller time frame, it's not very wide, but on a bigger time frame, it can be wide.
Correct. Okay. All right. It's okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Hello. Any other question before I call it the night? Any other question? You can unmute yourself, ask your question, and mute yourself, ask your question. Any other question? Okay, since in the absence of any other question, I thank everybody for taking out their time to attend, and I wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and a beautiful Sunday. And somebody is asking a question. A beautiful night's sleep and a lovely week ahead. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming.